Pastrana has lost 26 points in the last 2 races.
Beautiful facility here. If you got a camera, take a picture of this place because it doesn't get any better. And the dirt looks good as well, but underneath that inch of loam, it's pretty slippery. Let's check in now with Davey Coombs for a closer look.
Here's how it looks in the first turn here at Washougal. All new starts, second gear, no concrete. That means you come off, it's hard packed, but it's real sandy. Very short chute. A lot of sawdust down here. I doubt you see very many pilots. Down in the second corner. Just time not to get a gear, and then here we come up the big hill. I don't know what they call this. It's a part of the track, especially for a bed rider. Little change this year. You make it right. It's not wide open like it used to be. Come on the outside, square up this corner. Nice new Euro section here. Tight little corner top. Real narrow here. Now check out this off. Whoa, check out this off camera. So I got on the thick stuff. Gave me a chance to wrestle. Used to be a downhill double here. It's gone now, but still completely iced. Look how slick it is on the inside. Come in slow, get your wheels and run. Power on. Up in the stadium boot section. Try and get 2 through. See, I didn't do a very good job. Over the finish line.
Taking a look at the Suzuki point standings after 8 rounds. 18-point lead for Travis Pastrana. Grant Langston, who started the season with 4 straight Moto wins, coming back after injury, while Travis hasn't won since Southwick. Mike Brown also close. Let's go back to Davey.
Art and David, I want to show you guys something different that we've been seeing at the races lately. This is the scene on the starting gate a half hour before we got ready for the start of the first 125 moto. Mike Brown's been coming to the gate by himself just to check things out. Last week at Kenworthy, it worked. He went 1-1. He was a half hour ahead of everyone before the race, about 5 seconds ahead of him afterwards. But Travis Pastrana is the other guy I want to talk about. For the second week in a row, Travis is going to be dealing with a concussion, and he made it worse when he crashed right before the end of practice this morning. Keep an eye on Pastrana. He's already down in the points from the last couple weeks. It might get a whole lot worse here at Washougal.
As we take a look at the starting grid, the 125 riders at the gate, 5 have won a 125 overall here at Washougal, including Pastrana, Brown, and Larry Ward. Ernesto Fonseca, Brock Sellards has won here. Brandon Jessamine and Damon Huffman. Nathan Ramsey, Kelly Smith, Scott Sheak, and Nick Way. Steve Lamson, another rider who has a victory here at Washougal. Greg Schnell has had some great starts lately. Roderick Tane, his second race after coming back from a shoulder injury. The top 20 finishers score championship points. 40 riders in the field. And the only appearance in the Northwest in Supercross or Motocross, we've got a large contingent of local riders making both main events. I was up here on Thursday for amateur day. It was 80 degrees. It has cooled off considerably, 65 degrees, but beautiful conditions for a record-breaking crowd. 2 motos for the 125s, 2 for the 250s. We're getting set for our opening moto now. Mike Brown, he's been the hot rider lately. Pro Circuit Kawasaki number 100. 32nd board sideways. We're ready to go from Washougal, Washington. Fonseca gets the hole shot. Pastrana's right behind him. Pastrana there on the outside. Look out, he's going wide. Mike Brown cuts in between. Pastrana goes down in turn number 2. Langston kind of forced him wide, David. And look who's got the lead. Fonseca in a battle with Mike Brown. Mike to the inside. Boy, he's aggressive this year. Mike Brown takes over the lead. Lots of action here with the early going of our first 125 moto at Washougal. David, Washougal's a little narrow, but very interesting.
Well, this is one of the most narrow sections. You heard Davey talk about that earlier. I think that's why Brown was so aggressive to try to get around Fonseca. Already Langston getting around. So the 2 guys that are chasing down Pastrana running 1 and 2. This is what happened to Travis. Now Fonseca's got the best line right around the inside, so Langston actually took Travis wide and got past himself. But watch Travis right here. He just runs right into the back tire of Langston and takes himself out. And then the pass for the lead. Brown squares the berm a little bit early and chops off about 5 or 10 feet of that corner. Catches Fonseca sleeping a little bit right there.
Looks like Mike Brown made the cut while the dirt is still fairly solid on top.
It's going to get pushed out a little bit, and all that loam's going to get pushed into a little berm on the outside, and all the what's going to be left is that slick surface that Davey was talking about earlier. Looks like riding on ice.
Brown and Langston try to pull away from Fonseca right now here at Washougal. These two riders have the same number of Moto wins as Travis Pastrana, the points leader. That's how close it's getting.
Well, this is what I'm anxious to see. Is everyone's talking about how fast Brown is, but Langston hasn't really been getting the starts. Plus, he's had that shoulder problem. He's not 100%. Now these guys can go head-to-head.
Doug Dubach is up in the top 3. Kelly Smith, Roderick Tane, Steve Lamson, guys that aren't normally up front, are behind Fonseca. And there is Pastrana in the back of the pack.
Introducing the all-new Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck from Chevy.
Get down in the dirt. Get down on the dunes. Get down on the trail. Get your monthly payments way down. As low as $69 a month and no down payment with a Honda card. Or get low 6.9% financing and no down payment on any new Honda ATV. Get down-to-earth deals now at your Honda dealer.
Now get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 8 weeks at just 38 cents a day, a 50% savings.
Call 800-454-6500. That's 800-454-6500 for the Wall Street Journal.
When Suzuki introduced the original 4-stroke DR 350 and dual sport 350, it rocked motorcycling. Now, it's happening all over again. Introducing the all-new DRZ 400 and DRZ 400S from Suzuki. 4-stroke thunder. On road or off.
Some play fantasy football from ESPN.com for the competition. Others, the camaraderie.
I'm just crazy for the juice.
It's ESPN Fantasy Football 2001. The classiest fantasy football on the intranet.
It's primo.
Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Back in Washougal, Washington, 9th round of 125 action in the first Moto. And the battle right now is for third. Ernesto Fonseca, coming off his best race of the season, a second-place overall at Troy, is battling it out with Roderick Tane. It's only his second race back from a very bad shoulder injury. It was so bad he even went back to France to recuperate.
Fonseca looking over his shoulder there going, who is on my tail? Look how close Tane's following. You follow somebody that close, they can feel you.
Great speed on this slippery track as Roderick Tane moves in front of Fonseca. These two guys had second-place finishes in motos in the last race at Troy.
Whoa, Tane getting all sideways there. He's trying to lay the bike over a little bit, trying to stay low to the ground, and that back wheel slid out a little bit more than he expected. That's what I was saying. It's a little deceiving here. You think, oh, look at that dirt. It's perfect. Every once in a while, you hit a patch of ice.
Roderick Tane taking third place. His second-place finish was the first Moto at Troy. And it was just a matter of conditioning, he said. How long can I go in the second Moto and stay competitive? He said, only about 20 minutes.
Well, that was then. I mean, look at what we've got now. Overcast skies, 65 degrees, a lot cooler than it was there.
Michael Brown looking for his 3rd consecutive Moto win. Let's go down to Davey in the mechanics area.
Well, Steve, it looks like you guys have picked up right where you left off last week in Ohio.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good at the moment. I mean, we've got Grant right on the back of us. I don't really know what the tactics will be. I think we're just running what we can, and if Grant manages to get by us, then we'll just sit behind him and take it from there.
We're getting quite a roost down here in the mechanics area today.
Yeah, it's pretty good, eh?
Oh, those guys, you can't get them out of the mud. Can't get them out of the roost.
There's hardcore fans and there's hardcore mechanics. This surface art is a lot like what you encounter in Europe, and they water the track a little bit too much here and there, and Brown's used to that.
Look at this. Number 22, Talon Volan, his first race back. He missed something like 7 races because of a concussion earlier in the season. And now he's battling Fonseca. Now give Fonseca some credit. After his career best motocross, placing overall 2nd at Troy, he's had some ligament problems in a thumb. And that can really cost you in a motocross.
I couldn't get the full story, exactly what's wrong. They're not talking about it much, but it did hurt his hand in practice. And it's a good thing this isn't one of the rougher tracks. That section right there has got to be killing him.
Oh, that's a great section, though. The whoop section in front of the finish line. Fonseca trying to hold off Talon Volan. Volan had a great race here last year. In fact, Pastrana won the race, but he had to go through Talon Volan to get it. It was a great battle.
And that's not easy, because Volan is one of the more aggressive guys on the circuit. He's not necessarily that consistent in terms of which line he's going to take, so getting around him could be a chore.
He plays it wide like Emmett used to. Let's go down to Davey.
Guys, we already showed you how far ahead of the leaders are. Here comes 3rd place Hot Rod Thane. I want to show you how far back Pastrana's gone. There's Volan, Fonseca, Smith, Scott Sheak, Michael Brandis, Doug Dubach. Coming up next, you'll see Brock Sellards, Steve Boniface. Here comes Brandon Jessman. And finally, all the way outside the top 10, Travis Pastrana. That 2nd turn crash is going to hurt him. He is going to lose a lot of points to Brown and Langston.
Still early in the race, and you know Travis Pastrana, he loves to come from behind. Here's Talon Volan. He's taking a look-see at the back of Roderick Tane.
He really caught it, too, and I thought Tane had a good pace going. You can't see the leaders, though, Tane, so he kind of got stuck into a pace. Well, maybe this is good enough. Just take care of 3rd. Langston and Brown have checked out, but now Tane has realized this pace isn't going to cut it. He's trying to pick it back up right now. See that slick stuff right there? Every once in a while you hit it. This was a really difficult track to read.
It's to Tane's liking, though, and certainly to Mike Brown's liking. Mike still out in front, trying to keep his string alive.
I remember the days when service meant something.
For home heating and cooling, ME Flow knows what customer service means.
I remember when people had the experience to get the job done.
ME Flow meets the Lennox quality dealer standards.
I remember when I could rely on a company for years.
Lennox has made quality products for over a century.
I remember when I could get a good haircut.
How about a cap?
Lennox, one less thing to worry about.
Every town should have one, a place to go when you need a break. South Street Under is that place at Market Station in Leesburg. Perfect for meeting friends, conducting business, or making a pit stop while biking the trail. And at the center of Market Station is South Street Under's deck seating, an ideal place to take advantage of Virginia's beautiful weather. South Street Under, located underneath Tuscarora Mill in Market Station, Leesburg. It's a little hard to find, but once you go there, it's easy to remember.
This weekend, Saturday on ESPN, after their tragic loss, the Vikings head to New Orleans to face Ricky Williams and the Saints. Sunday on ESPN, Annika Sorenstam and Kari Webb battle for the Wendy's Championship for Children. Then on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, can the Mariners continue their record-setting pace as they host the White Sox? And on ESPN Classic, it's a Disney classic, The Love Bug. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Mike Brown and Grant Langston, 1st and 2nd place here in the opening moto of the 125s. The real battles for 3rd, and it's a goodie. Roderick Tane He's got Talon Boland, a very aggressive rider, right behind him.
As you already pointed out, Art, Boland did well here last year. He likes this place. He's been wanting to come back and ride, but Mitch Payton is saying, nope, not till you're ready. He picked a good track to come back and make his debut. He loves this soil. He did well here last year, and I've said it a million times. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. Anytime you have success at a track, you look forward to that place. You ride a little bit better than you do any other time. It's like putting a Tour de France rider in that yellow jersey.
Well, Mitch Payton was smart because when Talon Boland makes the pass, on run retained for third. He wanted to come back. He felt good, he thought. And Mitch Payton did the wise thing.
That was kind of weird with Payne going up the hill. It looked like he looked over at Talon and said, go ahead. I don't think he wanted to deal with the pressure. Everything looks okay with him. Bike seems okay. He's still aggressive now. Maybe he wants to learn some of Boland's line. Maybe these two can close the gap on the leader.
Well, it's always nice when you have the lead to keep a Pastrana off your back, too, and watch the backside.
Well, if Pastrana catches these guys, he's going to have to cut the track somewhere because he's still not inside the top 10. I mean, that's too bad.
Scott Sheak in 6th. Here's a real interesting story for a Honda profile. After injuries plagued his 1998 and 99 seasons, Scott Sheak found himself exiled to Europe and the World Motocross Series. But the injury bug followed him clear across the Atlantic and wiped out his 2000 campaign.
It's really been tough on me. The last 3 years I've been hurt. And, you know, after I got over the first year, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm healthy again. And then all of a sudden, bam. You know, and then having a second year, you know, it's pretty tough. But then healing up from a second year and having that happen again, I mean, it was just, I mean, it brings you pretty far down.
Problems with his Italian Honda team at the start of the 2001 campaign led to a phone call from Kenny Watson, manager of Plano Honda. Kenny offered the New York native an opportunity to come back to America and race in the AMA Motocross Series.
I knew that, you know, Scott kind of changed his life around the last couple of years, and he got married and he became a Christian, and you know, I knew he's a hard worker, and I knew that he could help our team, and I knew that we could help him.
You know, I'm really thankful that I got a ride with Plano Honda, and all these guys come through for me, and I'm so happy to be back in the U.S.
Sheak joined the team a week and a half before the first race at Glen Helen, which meant a lack of preseason testing and thus a season of seesawing results.
This season for me has been so up and down. You know, it's like one weekend I'll have a fourth, and I'll be, you know, I'll do good, and the next race I'll get in a pile up or, you know, crash or do something stupid. It's been so inconsistent. I don't understand it.
Coming into the Washougal round, the 27-year-old is back in 12th place in the standings. However, the experience he's brought to the Plano Honda pits can't be measured in wins or points.
People that really don't know Scott think he's kind of a, a little cocky guy, but you know what? He's really humble. He's really down to earth, and he fits in really good with the team, and he works out, you know, really well with the younger riders on our team. You know, he's kind of the elder spokesman of our team, and the guys can kind of look up to him and ask him for advice, and it's been really good.
It's a wonderful team. The Plano team is just, it's a great group of guys. You know, all the mechanics they work so hard, and everybody on the team, even the truck driver and, you know, Steve Wagner, the owner, everybody works so good together.
For 2002, the Honda factory will back the Plano team again, and Sheak isn't going to let his second chance racing for a factory in the AMA pass him by again.
Right after the season's over, man, I'm no break. I'm so pumped up. I'm just gonna work hard. See, I haven't rode Supercross for 2 years, so I'm just gonna just get ready all winter and hope to come back and be on that podium as much as possible, win some races, and be consistent. I hope everything goes really well for us for next year. It looks good.
Plano Honda already assured of support from the factory next year. Doug Dubach in pursuit of Ernesto Fonseca. Dubach, 10 years ago, won a San Jose Supercross race. He has not won a national, but he's been around a long time, David, and been responsible, really, for testing much of Yamaha's four-stroke effort.
He's been around as long as I can remember, and he's been about the same speed the whole time. He's had great runs like he did in San Jose, but just never see Dubach have a bad day. He always rides well. He always looks good. He's always pretty fast. It just depends on the start he gets, what bike he's riding. He rides a lot of different bikes. Now he's become the 4-stroke aficionado. He's reeling in Fonseca on the other 4-stroke.
Doug Dubach, an outstanding teacher of technique as well. It's good to see him back on the track, number 60 on the Yamaha. Let's go to Davey.
Alan, I got to tell you, we are surprised your rider, Doug Dubach, 38 years old, putting it to a bunch of people more than half as young as him.
Yeah, I mean, he got a great start. He kind of had to move a couple people out of the way, but he could still go really fast.
We're used to seeing you guys come out here every year and ride the 250 class. Why'd you decide to go to the 125 class?
Well, it was kind of a situation. The gentleman up here had 2 bikes, one a 426 and one a 250, and we hadn't ran the 125 class for a while, so we tried to do that one.
It looked like the White brothers know what they're doing on these 4-strokes.
Yeah, it's going good. Thanks.
Back on the track, Mike Brown. Starting to lap riders now here at Washougal in our first 125 moto. And look at the distance he's been able to pull on Grant Langston. Now, Langston is not 100%, I don't believe, David.
He's getting closer, but I think this 2 weeks off they have after this race, he's going to have a real opportunity to get healthy, get back into his practice routine, be able to do a little bit more working out, where he's got to be a little tender right now and can't quite do it. So he should be able to come back to the next round and be up to speed with Brown. I think the difference you're seeing right now is a difference in Brown having his program working well and Langston having a little bit of an injury still left over.
Langston picking up his 3rd victory of the season at Unadilla with a 2-1. But he had a missed opportunity to pick up points on Pastrana in the last race at Troy.
More riders. More classes. More championships. More than ever. Suzuki. Rising stars to superstars.
This is the all-new Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. And the 2001 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck from Chevy.
Do you want to see the greatest baseball comeback in 76 years? The Indians' miracle victory over the Mariners. It's an instant classic, and the only place to see it is on ESPN Classic. Down 12-0, the Indians slugged their way back into the game and into baseball history.
Cleveland has won it!
An instant classic, Mariners, Indians, the miracle comeback, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday, only on ESPN Classic, presented by GM. To see this history-making game, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Time running down now in our first 125 motos. We see Roderick Payne in pursuit of Talon Volan. He's not let Volan get away on this final lap of the opening moto.
I think he did what I was assuming he did a while back, was just kind of allowed Volan to get around and wanted to learn as much as he could. He's not in the points team. There's no concern there, so I think he's just going, all right, if I'm out here to learn, why not follow somebody that's got this track dialed in?
Mike Brown way out in front of Grant Langston in 2nd place. Brown's not one to make mistakes when out in front with this kind of a lead, but anything can happen, as we've seen throughout this season. Brown's very first motocross victory overall was right here at Washougal. It was some time ago, before he went to Europe. I'll never forget the bet he had with his mechanic, Jeff Nutter. The bet was if he won an overall, Nutter had to shave off all his facial hair. Well, not even Nutter's son had ever seen him without a beard.
Hope nobody was brave enough to take a bet today, because he's one of the fastest guys on the circuit right now. Coming back to this track where he got his first win, I would just stay away from that bet.
Looking at the checkered flag, Brown gets his 6th moto victory of the year. Langston will finish 2nd. as these two guys are still in a battle for third. When they come out of the woods, they'll hit the whoop section in front of a great grandstand. They'll make this turn, and it's all whoops to the checkered flag. Here comes Tain on the outside. Does he have enough? Oh, Volan edging over, just gets third place on Roderick Tain. What a competitive battle. The two guys loved it, you can tell. Brown, Langston, Volan are top three with a great effort from Tain. Michael Brendis, a nice fifth place finish. And Travis Pastrana all the way down to 8th. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Mike, you picked the right part of the series to start a hot streak. Your third moto win in a row, another bad moto for Travis. You're right there.
Yeah, I ain't worried about nobody but myself, you know. Go out there and do the best I can and hopefully win a moto and get more points on everybody.
You got a good start, and then you had Langston behind you. How was the pressure?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, you know. I wasn't even pushing out hard when he was behind me, and I was just trying to get good lines and wasn't trying to show him all my lines until I got away from him a little bit. And once I got away from him, I had some better lines and used them to my advantage.
You showed us last week that you're totally in shape in that hot day at Kenworthy's, never slowing down. Today it's a lot cooler. How are you going to ride in the second moto?
I don't know. I feel good. I feel like I just been out practicing. I ain't tired at all, so hopefully I'll do the same.
Bad news for the other guys.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
Finally, a smile from the guy who loves to focus a half hour early getting to the gate. Talon Volan, quite a run, especially after coming off that concussion. Let's go back to Davey and hear from him.
Talon, for a guy that's been out for a long time, you just rode your butt off.
Yeah, I know. I'm so happy. That was my goal, is to hit the podium. I really just wanted to get a top 5 the first moto because missing so many races, I have a very bad pick on the gate, so it's hard to get a good start. I knew I'd have to work my butt off, but to get third, that's great. I just hope the next moto do the same thing. I wasn't really looking to come to win this race, although I've been training pretty hard. My head feels good now. And I know I'd be strong, but without racing at this level, you don't really know where you're at, and I don't know if my condition is up to par, so it takes a few races to really get into it. But, man, I couldn't be happier starting out where I'm at, basically leaving where I left last year and getting on that podium. I just want to thank my sponsors, you know, Pro Circuit Kawasaki and Chevy Trucks, and all the guys that pitch in and just supported me, and all the people that came to my website and just gave me a lot of support while I was laying at home injured. So I appreciate it, and I hope more people come visit me at talonvolan.com.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Pastrana edged Fonseca for 8th. In the last 4 motos, he's averaged an 11th place finish. A time of frustration.
Since I met you, I've begun to feel so strange. Every time I speak your name, and honey, you'll always be the only one for me. Meeting you.
Once you see how affordable a Yamaha V-Star is, you won't be able to help falling in love either.
You know, they just came out with this new flavor, dude. It's pretty sick.
That's a sassy feeling.
I got this, like, mango, like, crazy.
Sorry, dude.
Heads up.
How many times have I told you guys about sitting on cars? Oh, we weren't sitting on it. We were just leaning on it.
Call me a liar?
No, no.
Hey, don't worry about it. It's cool. Are you calling me a liar?
No, your lights are on.
Let's break!
X Games, presented by Mountain Dew, begins August 18th on ABC.
Is Mountain Dew in serious jeopardy? This generally harmless male will defend his domain with basic animal instinct. A fierce battle rages. Yet in the end, to the victor go the spoils.
Hey man, how you feeling?
Not bad.
Until next time, do the do.
Come on, pitcher, strike him out!
There are a few defining moments in life that set you on a certain path. This will be one of them. The Little League World Series presented by Honda, 6 and 8 tonight on ESPN2.
Here in Washougal, Ricky Carmichael is going to look for his 6th consecutive victory on the season. After breaking Bob Hanna's all-time AMA motocross win mark at Unadilla, RC became Kawasaki's all-time 250 motocross winner at Troy, surpassing Jeff Ward. It was at Troy, for the first time in my tenure, we had a winner that was too sick to surrender to Davey Coombs' post-race questions.
Irritable bowel syndrome. I don't know how I got it or what have you, but anyhow, I got some good stuff to see if it'll cure my problem on the racetrack, and if it does, that's great. And if not, then I need to go on to plan B. But looking forward to hopefully I'll feel good the whole moto, and everything will work out. I got a 48-point lead. Wyndham's in second, so obviously my main goal is to kind of watch him and his tactics, and you know what he's got going on, kind of like Lance Armstrong did in the tour, you know, watching Jan Ulrich. So I just need to get good starts and ride good like I've been riding. You know, I think I've been riding pretty relaxed, and actually last weekend I felt like I was riding really good. I was hitting my turns by faster than I've hit them all year and really charging hard. And I just need to do that this weekend.
Despite his illness, 5 overall wins, grabbing the points lead. He heads into this event with his best points advantage so far in the season, 48 points over Kevin Wyndham. The injury list this year is overly populated by concussion victims. Take Sebastian Tortelli, for instance, in the last race. He came out of it with 2 black eyes and a lump on the forehead before talking with us prior to today's race.
I cannot tell you. I don't remember it. You know, I just everybody said I was pretty conscious when I crashed and got up. But I just remember being at the hotel, at the room, and that's it. You know, I kind of forgot, you know, all the hospital part and everything, even if I was conscious at that time. So it's kind of blank. You know, I remember my start crashing on the Wistimi ferry at the second corner, and after that I just have a couple like flashes where I don't know where they went. The rest of the race I have no clue.
Yes, he was literally out on his feet when he was looking for his bike. As we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid with Carmichael and Wyndham 1 and 2 in the points, with Tim Ferry moving up to 3rd in the points. Sebastian Tortelli is just here to see how it goes. He's also very much in pain from a hurt shoulder, not just the concussions. Ezra Lusk trying to sharpen his performance before the end of the season. And let's give credit to John Dowd, who in 7th place in the points is the top privateer so far this year. Jason McCormick, a local, and Ryan Huffman, a local, back in the main event wars. Have you ever heard of so many concussions, David?
No, this is unbelievable, and I think it's just a bad luck spell we're going through, but it's definitely going to force the helmet manufacturers to take a second look.
Ryan Hughes has been told not to race because of a concussion. He is not in the starting lineup as we get set for the first 250 Moto from Washougal, Washington. Off and running. And it's down with the hole shot. 50% of the time in the last 4 motos, he's had the hole shot. The Honda in 2nd place, that's Ezra Lusk. Ferry to the inside, good position, but Ricky Carmichael in excellent position as well. All the leaders are right there.
Ricky said he wanted to keep an eye on Kevin Wyndham today. Wyndham's right behind him.
And Tortelli right behind Wyndham. As the charge up the hill here in our first lap in the first moto of the 250s is underway successfully. Ezra Lusk making the pass on Dowd. Ezra has led 1 race this year. That was at Unadilla. He led 6 laps in the first moto. And then the race fell apart for him. Here comes Ricky Carmichael. The crowd is going crazy. Carmichael moving into 2nd place behind Ezra Lusk. The old riding buddies doing a tag team match, I think, at the end of the season. Rumored, of course, Ricky Carmichael going to Honda, Ezra Lusk taking Carmichael's machine over at Kawasaki.
Ferry and Tortelli at the tail end of this train out front. And it's a fast train, all the big guns up front. Look at Wyndham on the outside.
Wyndham just blitzes by John Dowd.
This is a good track for Kevin. You know, I keep talking about how slippery it is here. That's where Kevin does well. Anytime the surface gets real slick, he's got that great power. Carmichael jumped almost to the bottom of that ski jump. And just, I think Dowd could feel him coming and said, I don't want to get taken out this early in the race. And wisely pulled up straight right there to let Carmichael through.
One of Dowd's decisions at the end of this season is whether to go back to 125s or not. You might remember that he has not pointed out in 125 Supercross. Here comes Carmichael with the challenge. That whoop section is so great for passing and exciting for the fans. Lusk, Carmichael. Looks like we've got a good battle on our hands here in the 250s. We'll be right back with more exciting action from Washougal after these words.
Attention. The preceding space was a demonstration of the KX domination system. In the event of an actual race, it would have been followed by the roaring crowd and the new champ holding an oversized cardboard check. For further instructions, contact your Kawasaki dealer. Somebody's about to ride off with a great deal on a Kawasaki. What are you going to do on your summer vacation?
Look at Romeo.
Now check him out.
Did you see the girl over there? Yeah, she's checking Eric out.
Oh, is she? Yeah, Eric.
X Games presented by 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls begins August 18th on ABC.
My summer tour was a learning experience. 20 cities in 29 days. I got to do so many things I've never done before. I even learned how to wakeboard. I'm gonna get this. Well, that didn't go too well. And while I never really mastered wakeboarding, I learned that it's easy to make a collect call with 1-800-CALLATT to save big bucks while keeping in touch with friends.
Just oil down the center.
If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. If being right means being without you, I'd rather live a wrongdoing life. If I can't see you when I want, I'll see you when I can. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right.
The Roadstar from Yamaha.
Loving you is wrong.
Back at Washougal, our first 250 moto. After Mike Brown won the 125 opening moto. We've got a good battle for the lead right now. Carmichael and Ezra Lusk. Carmichael slipping just a little bit, wanted to cut inside on Ezra Lusk, but couldn't quite make it that time. Look at the speed up that hill.
And the roost here really hurts. You see Carmichael trying to stay just to the side, stay out of that roost, also to keep Ezra guessing.
Actually a three-way battle now for first place. Wyndham's right behind as Ricky goes bar to bar downhill. Tough move by Ricky Carmichael.
Just muscled his way in there to the inside of Ezra. He's doing it again right there. That almost let Kevin through.
Our third leader here in the early going of our first 250 moto. Kevin Wyndham putting pressure on Ezra Lusk. He doesn't want to let Carmichael get away.
Ezra getting a little bit wide right there. Thought he had enough of a cushion over Ricky, but found out right about there he didn't. Decides, okay, I'll go wide, try to square it. And then that was interrupted a little bit because he saw that yellow fender of Wyndham coming down there. So just had to give it up to Carmichael. Now, even though Ezra's riding well, it seems like Carmichael's just inching away, and that's bad news for Wyndham. So he's really pushing hard to try to follow Ricky up there in a 1-2 battle.
Here comes Wyndham to the inside. Can't quite make it stick. This time he does. Wyndham, a nice move on Ezra Lusk. Lusk, after battling a rib and ankle injury, posting 4 consecutive double-digit finishes. He's trying to work himself back into a competitive atmosphere. But Kevin Wyndham was just too much for him there.
Take a look at the helmet right here, Villeman, 1X. That stands for the win he had at Mount Morris. And in contrast, Ricky running out of room. Take a look as they get out over the gate. That's LaRocco to Ricky's right. Little wheelie, he's got to back out of it. Villeman's got one leg down, weaving into the shoulder of Lusk. LaRocco back and forth, ruins Kevin Wyndham's momentum a little bit, and Ricky shoots right up the middle.
Ezra Lusk now has Tim Ferry to deal with. Great hop there by Ezra. Can he hold the 4-stroke off, though? 4-stroke's great on this slippery surface. Tim Ferry doesn't take it easily, that's for sure, as Lusk has given him a great battle. Ferry finally moving in front of Lusk. With the accident at Troy, Ryan Hughes then on Thursday knocked himself out pretty darn good in practice. And it's highly likely now that he will not go to Europe to be on the Motocross the Nations team. Ferry is the #1 candidate to replace him, but you can't rule out Wyndham, who's coming on strong, and Brown. But Ferry's had a wonderfully consistent season. Davey?
Brian, looks like Tim is carrying a lot of that momentum from that second moto win last weekend.
Yeah, we had a really good second moto last week. The bike was really fast. Pulled off a moto win. Yeah, the fastest lap times here today in practice, and we're just looking forward to carrying that momentum into the moto.
We know a couple years ago, Jimmy Button won here on the YZ 426. Have you and Tim talked about that at all? That this is a great track for that bike?
Yeah, that bike really suits this track very well with the big uphills and everything. You know, we've worked the tires all day with Bridgestone today, and I've got it working really good. Hopefully we can get it on there.
Our leader continues to be Ricky Carmichael, and Wyndham is starting to pick up now. He's right in front of Ferry. There you see it. That's the interval. Ferry is knocking on the door for second, but Wyndham has truly picked up a lot of time on Ricky Carmichael.
Makes me wonder if he's got the stomach problem figured out. Seems like he's riding hard. As soon as we went to that shot of him, he came into that corner, hit a brake and bump, the rear end danced around. He's pushing hard, and he's not able to break free from these guys. If anything, Ferry has caught him, and it's going to get tighter.
They round the corner going into the whoops. Always interesting. Carmichael, Wyndham, Ferry fishtailing all over the place.
He didn't let off, though. You can see these guys, and he wants to stay in contact. Got to learn what lines they're taking, get used to that pace.
Boy, how many riders have we seen slip out right in this area? Dozens. Carmichael could get a challenge next from Wyndham. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Get ready, sportsmen. It's the Frederick Hunting, Fishing, and Outdoor Show, Maryland's biggest sportsman show, coming to the Frederick Fairgrounds August 10th through the 12th. There'll be over 200 exhibits on display, plus the excitement of the Buckmaster Deer Contest. Demos and displays include the Magnum Whitetail display and lectures on bass fishing techniques from world champion Woo Daves. Enjoy a gun show with 100 tables and a 15-target 3D competition Saturday and Sunday. Children will enjoy kids archery, BB guns, and fishing. It's all coming to the Frederick Fairgrounds August 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Custom-made jewelry at low prices. It's a reality at Offie Jewelers in Leesburg. Offie can guarantee their low prices and quality because they import their gold from Italy and diamonds from Belgium. From casual to extravagant, Offie Jewelers has the perfect gift for any occasion, including the finest selection of watches from Omega, Tag Heuer, and Raymond Weil. Plus, Offie sells gold by the weight, allowing you the best prices in Northern Virginia. Shop the others, but before you buy, check with Offie's. Offie Jewelers, Prosperity Center in Leesburg.
You know, athletes are pretty well known for their superstitions, but I gotta be honest, our guys can be pretty quirky, too.
Have a good show, Kenny. You too.
There's this one time Brian had a great show, didn't bathe for 17 days straight.
This year, though, it's been a very different story.
The worst had to be when Dan spilled clam chowder, Manhattan clam chowder, all over Reese. Had his best show ever. Of course, that got old for Reese really quickly.
Yeah.
He's in makeup.
Okay.
Welcome back to Washougal Motocross Park, just up the Columbia River from Portland, Oregon. In a beautiful site and some great racing. Sebastian Tortelli currently in 5th. He won the race at Hangtown, as you saw the graphic there, but has had some problems with bad luck as well as costly mistakes this year. Look at this. It's tightened up for the lead. The fans, you can hear them roaring. Carmichael and Wyndham. Wyndham taking the same line right there as Carmichael. Davey, what do you have?
Chad, you guys are starting to get a lot of pressure from Wyndham. How's Ricky going to play this?
Hopefully he doesn't worry about him and just focus on the track. Kevin's entering his corner speed really good right now, and I just notified Ricky of that. So maybe he'll pick up on that and start attacking his corners a little bit harder.
Last year at Washougal, Ricky came back from a first lap crash to go from 10th to 2nd in the first moto. Then he went flag to flag, leading all 16 laps in the second moto. Won twice here on 125 as well. Can he hold off Kevin Wyndham?
Little mistake right there. Look at him just holding that inside. He knows Kevin can get inside of him if he leaves any room.
An exciting area as they go through the woods.
Step back in, get away from Kevin. Nice recovery to stay close right here.
Here it comes. Kevin Windham on the inside. Beats him in the whoops. Can he make it to the corner? I think this tremendous crowd is applauding the competition as much as the pass by Windham. Carmichael very popular here, but the crowd was going crazy during that action.
I think they're just excited that somebody has brought it up. Able to challenge just the same way as when McGrath was getting challenged early this season in the Supercross by Ricky. They're seeing something they can't believe.
It's an unusual happening this year because Carmichael has given way to other riders in first motos before this season, but I don't think he's been passed like this before.
Now Kevin's just riding better. He was all over him. Look at the gap he's already opened up, and while Kevin's doing that, Ricky can feel Ferry now.
Here comes Tim Ferry. Boy, that would be something. 2 riders passing Ricky Carmichael, then you know he still has stomach problems.
Right now, if he can just stay with Windham, he'll only lose 3 points. If Ferry's able to get around, he'll lose 2 more. 5 points he can't really afford to lose. Watch Windham pick up the front end and touch the wheel right there. Little wheel tap, hops him 3 in, and then he just stays a little flatter, more on the throttle than Ricky. And Ricky's in the best line. So Kevin's got that section dialed in, and anytime you pass Ricky in a section where he feels like he's faster, he's got to mess up his head a little bit.
Kevin Windham having a very good season despite the fact that he hasn't won an overall. His worst finish was 6th at Redbud, and that was after he threw a chain in the second moto after a second place in the first moto. Kevin Windham's been working hard this year to get back up into the competitive level, and he's had a very consistent season.
See the difference in style between Kevin and Ricky. Kevin is a little bit more finesse, a lot more body English, a lot more throttle control. Ricky just pins it everywhere, and you can't do that on this racetrack. You saw Ferry come out of that corner there a couple of corners ago and get sideways. That's because he tried to get on it a little bit hard. He was over anxious, and that just bites you here on this soil.
Now can Ferry turn the trick on Carmichael? That's what the fans are wondering right now.
He's fast enough, no question about that, but passing him, that's a whole other deal.
Strategy comes into play, even though he gets such great traction on this particular course.
Now this is the kind of track where moving over a couple of inches or hitting that exact line you want to hit within a couple of inches is critical. That's what Kevin is so skilled at. That little front end twitch right there. You just have to get comfortable with the fact that at high speed, the bike's going to do a lot of that every lap here.
Boy, that's a great shot, too, to see the angles and the footwork.
Look at him just shoot out of that berm right there.
That is Tortelli's pit board. Shane Drew is concerned about Tortelli.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, if you didn't remember much, and just fly into the race the next week. You gotta have a concussion. If your ears are popping on the way up to altitude and descending, that's not good recovery for your head. So I think his actions here are to just play it a little bit safe, try to get some good points, get a good start, and not lose too many, especially with Ryan Hughes missing. It's got to be on their minds.
The top 3 riders separating themselves from that tremendous Roncada battle we saw briefly earlier. Shane Drew is waiting for Tortelli to come back around as the leaders go through the mechanics area. Shane is concerned about his rider, that's for sure.
Shane, we know Sebastian got his bell rung last week. How was he this week?
He says he's all right, but he's a little stiff and sore, no doubt, but no like major problems from last week's crash.
Was there any apprehension about bringing him out here to Washougal?
Well, it depends who you ask. I thought he should have took a week off, but, you know, the guy won't quit for anything, so he's all right. He's not 100%, I don't think, but he's doing all right.
Back to the action on the track. There's Ezra Lusk, who led briefly. He's now in a battle with Villeman, and Roncada is in 6th behind the 5th place Villeman. There's LaRocco.
He'll push that battle up there.
But still out in front. Kevin Windham. Can he hold on with Carmichael behind him?
Introducing the all-new Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck from Chevy.
Win 2 AMA championships in a single year. Like Curtis Roberts. You're cocky. Win 15 championships in 14 years. You're Honda.
There are little men with great big hearts in racing. They're the jockeys on the backs of thoroughbreds. Rick Dick riding like no other on a filly called a butter, more exciting than the books you might have read. So Heidi, Heidi, hey, Heidi, Heidi, ho. When you see him, give him a shout.
Go, baby, go!
The road to the World Thoroughbred Championships continues Saturday on ESPN.
Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha.
Look how far forward Kevin was to that sweeper, almost going over the handlebars right there, charging hard because although he was able to get around Rick, he hasn't been able to drop him.
Windham's won one other moto. That was the second moto at Budds Creek this year. And then you have to go all the way back to Hangtown Classic of last year, where Windham won a moto. He did not win the overall at that time, though. Villeman took second in both motos to edge out Windham and Carmichael for the overall. So anything can happen. Ricky, a steady second, but Windham has not made a mistake.
Ricky knows that Kevin's one of those kind of guys that doesn't need a whole bunch of moto wins to be dangerous. He's one of those guys that when you line up next to him on the starting line, he can win anywhere, any day. Might even be a little bit more versatile than Ricky. A little bit better on hard-packed slick, a little bit better in the mud.
Ferry continues in third. Let's go back down to Davey Combs.
Guys, Sebastian Tortelli's not the only Honda rider who suffered a head injury in the last 7 days. Ryan Hughes crashed on Wednesday out at Glen Helen. He went down on his head and his shoulder, went to the doctor, decided to take a little time off. He definitely has a concussion. No word when Hughes will be back. 2 out of the 3 riders in the Honda camp, they had their bell rung in the last 7 days.
Kevin Windham, though, is concentrating, focusing on every line, as he's coming close to a very, very good day here at Washougal.
This is maybe one of the fastest laps of the race. It's got to be perfect. If he even so much as makes a tiny mistake, that allows Ricky to get a little bit closer, and if he blows the last corner before the whoops, Ricky can get him there. I love the way they have the whoop section placed here.
Look at Ricky, though. He's very close. Kevin Windham makes a little mistake. Number 4 will be right on him.
Look how far forward. All you amateur guys, okay, take a good look. If you think you're far forward, it's probably not that far forward. And it's working. He wants to make sure that front end goes exactly where he wants it, where he means to go, and the back end will just follow. If
Carmichael can pick up just a little bit more space in the wooded area before that whoop section and the checkered flag, boy, we'll see quite a bar-to-bar finish. He's not quite that close, though. Windham, the whoops and the checkers. Nice ride for Kevin Windham. Ricky Carmichael second. And Ferry way out in front of 4th place in 3rd. After Ferry, Ezra Lusk nailing down a 4th. Good ride for him and a good comeback for Stefan Roncada. Let's go down to Davey Combs now with our winners.
Kevin, that was a solid moto.
Well, I tell you, Davey, that's what I've been waiting on. You know,
I've been there, you know, I've been riding good, but nothing's clicked like that. You know, I got through lappers well. In the middle part of the race, Ricky kind of caught up to me, but man, I knew that I'd been working hard and I knew that I could do it, and I just kept my head down and kept riding the Suzuki best I could.
I've seen you get into these high-pressure races before. Sometimes they don't turn out the way they're supposed to, but man, he came back at you. You held him off strong.
Yeah, well, we're looking for a new Kevin Windham right now, and I'm close. I'm about to find him, and you know, it feels good because I've been working hard, and you know, it don't pay off in this sport right away. You know, Ricky's been on top for a long time, and he's still on top, but we're getting close, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and definitely being strong for the O2 season.
A confident Kevin Windham. Conditioning makes a big difference, doesn't it? Number 4, Ricky Carmichael placing second, still in good position for the overall. Let's check it out and see how he's feeling.
RC, it was a good pace the whole moto. You look consistent and right in the middle. What happened?
No, I mean, Kevin's riding awesome. He toyed with me out there. I tell you, I was riding as hard as I could, and he beat me. I mean, you know, these guys are getting faster. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm doing what I usually do, but, you know, I rode hard, and there's nothing I can say.
How's your stomach feel?
Actually, it was good. Today's the first time that it hasn't given me a problem. I'm on some medications for it, and I had no problem. So I am happy about that I'm not busting the gut here, but I'm not too happy with the ride. But, you know, I need to go out and try to do something second moto.
Very fine, steady ride for number 15 on the Yamaha 4-stroke Tim Ferry, taking a 3rd place. He's coming off moto wins in the last 2 races. He's on a high, definitely. Let's go back to Davey, who's with Tim.
Tim, you had a good pace there in the beginning. Toward the middle of the moto, you lost contact with the leaders.
Yeah, I actually was right there with them, and I got a bunch of stuff inside my goggles. And I couldn't really see, and I wasn't keeping up with them. And so I pulled them off a little over halfway, and I rode the whole rest of the race with no goggles. So I was going to try to pull in to make a pit stop, but Ezra was, you know, he was keeping pretty steady pace. So I figured if I pulled over, I'd probably come out right in front of them, and then I'd have to battle with those guys. So I figured I could just cruise in 3rd and get to finish there.
I can see the mud in your eyes. It had to have been tough riding.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad because the track's pretty long here, and the lappers are, you know, is not as bad as some of the other tracks. So, you know, I didn't get roosted too bad, you know, because I was up in the front, but hopefully do a little better second moto. I feel like I could have won that moto, but I don't know. We'll go try the second moto.
Good luck.
Tim Ferry having an excellent year. Sebastian Tortelli having his problems. We saw him in that first moto go from 5th to 10th. Because of his physical condition, it'll be interesting to see if we only see a token appearance coming up in the second moto for Sebastian Tortelli. Meanwhile, 125s are at the gate getting ready to go. And the points race has tightened up. Langston within 7 points of Pastrana. Brown within 11. And Brown sweep it with another win.
The Honda Goldwing. Cycle World named it Best Touring Bike. Rider Magazine awarded it Motorcycle of the Year. And now your Honda dealer has a quote of his own. No down payment and low 5.9% APR financing. The all-new, unbelievable 1800cc Goldwing from Honda. Its impressive financing ends August 31st.
The compact Presario 800T with Intel Pentium 3 processor, starting at $14.99. Incredibly good looking, incredibly thin, and incredibly light. How light? Pretty light. Call 1-888-331-5711 toll free and get a $50 instant rebate off any Presario notebook with Intel processor.
Funny car champion John Force and RPM Tonight's John Kernan teach little Kenny to slow down and learn. A true motorsports fan watches RPM Tonight for all the details. That boy, Kenny. Remember, to know is to love.
Welcome back to Washougal. Usually when we do the Kawasaki bike setup, we talk to one of the mechanics before the first moto. But for this week, we thought we'd talk with Team Kawasaki engineer Rick Ash about what they do to Ricky Carmichael's bike between motos. Rick, what is the schedule?
Well, first of all, Ricky just came in from the first moto and handed the bike off to Chad, so he's going to take and clean it up, and we're going to look it over, check for cracks. We're going to just do basic maintenance, put a clean filter in it, change the tires. If we want to make a suspension change, we'll do that. And basically go over it with Ricky, and whatever adjustments he wants to make, we'll do that, and basic maintenance.
Has he given you any idea what he wants to change here?
Yeah, he had a little bit of problem with cornering in the first moto. He had a hard time holding an inside line, so we're going to change the setup of the front a little bit and try to get him to carve a little better, hold an inside line a little better. So other than that, it's just basic maintenance and check over.
Thanks, Rick. That's this week's mid-moto Kawasaki bike setup with Team Kawasaki's Rick Ash.
Getting ready for the second 125 moto from Washougal, Washington. In the first moto, the points were chipped away from Pastrana's points lead. Can they do it again as we check out the start? Pastrana almost jumped too soon. Looks like Fonseca again.
He's got the start nailed today. And the thing about Fonseca that I used to bug him about is he picks his feet up right away. When it works great. Pastrana didn't come out too bad. He's right there in the middle.
Fonseca, Brock Sellards is right there, number 18 on the KTM. Roderick Tane, number 32. Mike Brown is also in good shape. Whoa, look at there. Brock Sellards makes the move on Fonseca. Sellards a winner here in the 125s a couple of seasons ago.
So this moto, Travis gets off ahead of Langston and Brown. Not quite as drastic as it was the first moto the other way around, but at least he's able to feel a little bit better about the way this moto started.
Brock Sellards with a third place finish in Budds Creek is coming off a third place at Troy. He's got his confidence riding high.
Look at Brown bump into Pastrana right there. If you're not going fast enough, Brown will roll right over you. Watch Fonseca aims to the outside. Same thing he did in the first moto, but Sellards is aiming over there to the right. I think Fonseca would have covered that line a little bit better. This is the result.
Fonseca still holding on to second place coming out of that corner. There's Larry Ward, number 10. He's after Fonseca, number 25. Ward with a 12th place finish in the first moto.
That's not even close to what he's capable of, and each time that Ward comes back up here to Washougal, it's a homecoming of sorts. He's won this race before. He's won the Seattle Supercross not far from here twice.
Through the woods they go. Fonseca trying to hold off Ward. Oh, look at the throttle of Ward put into that corner. Great speed on the corner as they go into the whoops. Sellards 18. Ward is in second place. Fonseca in third. Let's check in with Davey Combs.
Well, Lee, a better start this time. At least stayed up. Looks like game on.
Yeah, he made it around the first couple of turns, and that definitely makes a difference. So right now he's battling, and you know we got a long ways to go. So, but right now it looks good. Yeah.
How do you feel with Brown right behind you? They've been aggressive.
Yeah, they've shown more than aggression. So Travis is ready, and he'll do what he needs to do. So I'm not worried about it.
Roderick Tane, number 32, Team Suzuki, is right on his tail.
He needs to just be a blocker right now. Keep Brown back there for as long as possible. Let Travis get comfortable.
Well, Brown's already made the move on Tane.
Well, it was a good idea on paper.
Here's our leader, Brock Sellards.
Looked like Brown may have gotten around Travis in that corner. Travis got a little sideways.
Ward now starting to pick up the action as Damon Huffman is in the mechanics area.
Looked like a change of goggles.
So the problem isn't just with Tim Ferry. Ward now starting to show a wheel, starting to bang a little bit on Sellards.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a toss-up between these two. They've both won here. They're both on quick bikes, running out front. Ward, probably the more experienced rider. Definitely got the crowd on his side.
He won at the beginning of the decade. Sellards won at the end of the decade, last decade. Ward really looking aggressive, though. That should be an interesting matchup. Sellards trying to hold off Larry Ward. Travis Pastrana trying to hold off Mike Brown. We'll be back.
Hold on! I'm coming for you!
The Suzuki King Quad is the only all-terrain vehicle that has a 3-speed sub-transmission and locking front differential that allows you to transfer power equally to all 4 wheels to get you where you need to go.
I'm coming! Ah! I almost lost you there.
The King Quad from Suzuki.
This is the all-new Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. And the 2001 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck. From Chevy. It's got exhaust valves the size of a P-51 Mustang's. Its displacement per cylinder is greater than a 426 Heavy's. Its crankshaft weighs over 40 pounds. The Honda VTX 1800, the world's most extreme V-twin cruiser.
The Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross Series is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. Welcome back to our second moto of the afternoon for the 125s. Mike Brown taking the first one. Right now, Brock Sellards is out in front, but it's a tightly knitted group in the battle for first place. Larry Ward, number 10, in second. He's been hounding Brock for the last lap and a half.
Listen to Ward. Just keep that 4-stroke pin, squaring that corner off.
Ward with one victory on the season takes Sellards, new leader. Larry Ward has taken the lead here in the second 125 moto. Let's go to Racer X's Davey Combs.
Well, Doug, this is the kind of moto we expected from Larry the first time out. What happened?
He had a hole in his airbox and took all the power away from his bike. He was a little upset after that one. He wanted to do it here. So.
It looks like so far he's put all that anger right into going to the front of the pack.
Yeah, he's up there right now, but the others aren't too far behind. Mike Brown's charging right up behind him.
So as we take another look at the pass, Larry Ward in the first place, it sounded like that Ward's mechanic was more concerned about Mike Brown than Travis Pastrana back there, David.
Well, looking at what happened in the first moto, I would be too. And even over the past few weeks, Travis hasn't been the solid Travis that we saw at the end of last year.
The top 4 have tightened up. In our Suzuki flashback, we're going to call on a guest announcer. Earlier, Travis Pastrana told us about last year's 125 race here at Washougal.
Washougal was really the turning point of the season. I really didn't think I had a chance, but that was the point where instead of going out every weekend and going a half to win, I said, you know what, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to do what I've always done. Came out, got 2 great starts, had a really epic battle with Cal and Volan. We went back and forth, had some fun, wheelie through the whoops. I was 35 points down at the end of the day. Still really didn't think I had a chance. I knew Roncado would have to have another bad race, and I would have to win every single one of the remainder races to have a chance at the championship. But at that point, I was just having fun, and I was happy to be in second in the points.
He was happy, all right, winning 7 straight motos and 4 victories to end the season. Round 10, our next telecast, August 25th. Travis takes a look at his win at Millville. Travis Pastrana now is picking up on Brock Sellards. The battle for second is on, and right behind Travis is number 100, Mike Brown.
I think we all know what Mike Brown's going to do if he gets anywhere near Travis. If Travis leaves the door open a little bit, Brown's in there. He'll bump him. He doesn't care. He's a man racing against a teenager.
Well, look at that. Brownie split the 2. Sellards and Pastrana, no contact at all on the move. Pastrana looks back to see who's there.
That was the problem that Travis had right there. He was trying to set something up on Sellards, and Brown just got a little bit more of a run at him than he thought. But he can stay with him here. He doesn't have to beat him at every race, but he needs to stay close.
That was a good indication as the roost. And look at that, Mike Brown on one peg. Brown, Sellards, Pastrana. Behind our leader, Larry Ward.
Now, if Pastrana doesn't get around Sellards, he can forget about Brown.
He's not easy to pass. Bar to bar we go. Going into the corner. Pastrana backed off.
Look at Sellards coming in on the inside. That's the good line. Travis is going to go out wide and use the soft stuff to try to square him off. And whoops, there's Brown. Should have glanced over his shoulder on the way into that corner before he went that wide. But still, no disaster. Just needs to stay close. Not let Brown put too many riders between himself there and Travis.
Let's check in once again, trackside with Davey.
Mike, it looks like Brock is right in the thick of things, but man, it looks like there's a war going on around him.
Yeah, it's unreal how good everybody's riding up there. The pace is just so fast. You make one mistake and two guys go by you, so hopefully, you know, someone makes a mistake and he can gain some positions back and get up front.
I hate to ask you this, but with the points getting tighter, has anyone at KTM been talking about what to do if Langston comes up behind him?
Not yet. You know, everybody's still racing. All the points are close. You know, it's still everybody's racing for the championship. So maybe if it winds down to it, they might. But no, Brock's out there to win.
How would it feel for you guys to get in there and get a moto win and take everyone's glory right now?
It'd be nice to get in there. You know, there's all the talk. Travis and Brownie and Langston are riding great, but, you know, I think Brock is too, and he deserves a win.
He's looking like he'd love to win. Out of the whoops, bar to bar we go, and Brock Sellards hits the corner first.
I thought Travis had him through there, but Sellards recovered about halfway through and held it.
The acceleration on the outside, Travis Pastrana gets him back again.
That was smart. You know, when he squared off the corner, I was thinking, well, where are you going to go? Just the problem is if you go wide, you leave the door open for whoever's behind you, and Travis is able to use that loose berm out there to get back ahead of him on the inside in the next corner. He was thinking ahead.
Brock had a chance to plow into him if he wanted to on that last corner.
No, he didn't do it. Langston might be back there going, thanks. We don't need to make things that ugly just yet. The last race, that'd be a different story.
Mike Brown. He's got a battle of his own for the lead.
A little bit of smoke out of Ward's bike.
Up the hill and down the ski jump, Mike Brown takes the lead. Brownie looking for a sweep now.
You know, in the last week at Troy, I talked about how much they've gotten at 125 of Brown's to keep up with these four strokes, and right there, out horsepowers Ward up the long uphill. A little bit of smoke out of Ward's bike. Not sure what that is, a little bit of overflow. But look at Brown, tucked in. At that speed, you bet aerodynamics matter. He even kind of looks cool while he goes over that jump making the pass.
I thought he was going to fall off the back of the bike. He was leaning back so far.
I don't know what that does, but you know what? It worked.
Here's Langston trying to move up the ranks as a battle for third is now on with Pastrana. Our Suzuki trivia question, who's the only Suzuki rider to win 3 times at Washougal? When we come back to Washougal, Washington, we'll have the answer.
Tuscarora Mill is Loudoun's favorite restaurant and is also a great place for business and social gatherings. Whether it's an all-day corporate event or a rehearsal dinner, Tuskie's has the perfect banquet facilities. Choose from 2 rooms, the wine cellar or the garden room, both equally spacious and charming. And let the Tuskie's staff take care of all your banquet needs, from theme dinners to wine tastings. For groups of 15 or 150, call Tuscarora Mill, a Loudoun favorite for over a decade.
For centuries, man has longed to fly. Only now, only here, take flight over Gotham City. That wing, lie face down and fly. The earth racing below, fly that wing. Take flight now at Six Flags America.
Save up to 50% off admission with coupons from any participating subway.
Easy street, I'd love to live on
smack in the middle of a title fight, and the answer to our Suzuki trivia question, a Suzuki rider winning 3 times at Washougal, Mark Barnett, 3 of his 25 career victories.
Back in my day, I should have remembered that one. I was thinking Cooper. I forgot about Barnett. He was just as dominant back then as Brown has been these past couple of weeks, and something's still coming out of Ward's bike. That might be some oil now that I'm thinking about it more.
Pastrana behind Larry Ward. A former Larry Ward mechanic is now Travis Pastrana's mechanic, Lee McCollum. Davies with him.
Lee, I know you guys want to get this Moto win, but before you can get to Brown, you got to get by Big Bird.
Yeah, Big Bird's on that 250F, so I don't know. Travis is working towards him, but yeah, I haven't been able to get around him yet.
With the bangs he's taken to his head, are you nervous about this pace in the second Moto? They look like they're going a lot faster than they did the first time out.
Yeah, Travis looks comfortable. I mean, this track is rough. You know, it'll throw you around a bit. So, but he looks all right where I can see him at. So he's doing all right.
Mike Brown out in front. The battle for second place with Ward and Pastrana. For the week's highlights in motorcycle racing, check out Moto World Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern.
These guys are riding as hard as they can go from what I can see, and Brown is just leaving them. That's unbelievable. This track, when you're at your max pace, the difference in lap times is tenths of a second, and Brown's just walking away, and they're pulling away from Langston.
It's that same whoop section that Travis Pastrana last year wheelied through to take the checkered flag. It's been a tougher day today. Losing several points to Langston and Brown in the first Moto. He is in front of Langston now, but he's in back of Mike Brown. This is the time of year we usually see Travis Pastrana giving us a championship clinching run. Not the case this year. He's going to have to reach back because he's got some great challengers.
The problem with reaching back is that 2 weeks ago or 2 races ago, a concussion and the heat at Troy had him a little bit disoriented after the motos. So I wouldn't say he's 100% right now, and yet he's got to ride at 100% or above if he can muster it. He's got to get around Ward. He needs 2 more points closer to Brown, which I don't think he's going to catch. He needs those extra 2 points to set Langston back a little bit more.
Well, some of his biggest crashes have been in practice too, not in front of the fans, but that Unadilla crash, man, it looked like he had just taken a Holyfield right hand to the noggin.
He got a little fortunate there that hay bale didn't stop him more. Ward put that out there, and Travis was able to have the reflexes enough to just steer clear of it. Oh, he goes down.
Travis Pastrana hitting the deck.
There goes Langston. You can see that little tilt to the head right there. Travis going, come on. So you can feel it slipping away right now. Watch the front end. Just loses it. You drop over that hill right there, and you lose all the traction to the wheel. Plus, it's slippery. He recovers quick.
A pretty good lead he had on Langston is no more.
So the guys that are reeling him in are taking away even more points now.
Oh, no! Travis had his neck jerked and then popped the back of his head. He is absolutely still. That's his father coming in under the ropes.
I find it just very odd that happens to be right where his dad was standing. I don't know how much he hit, how hard he hit the first time. The back end gets away from him and then snaps back. It looks kind of like Unadilla right there, and then this one, boom, right to the back of the head. That's scary stuff considering his condition coming here. Now see, he's getting ready to hit the slick spot right here. His teammate Wyndham in the 250 class, he's over here in the loam. Even Langston is steering clear of it over there in that loam. Watch Travis, the faster line, but when it goes wrong, that's how it looks.
No points for Pastrana. That's the least of his worries right now. Mike Brown in first, Langston in third. Travis's points lead is not only endangered, it won't exist after this race. But right now, the concern is for him physically. We'll be right back.
The all-new FC1 from Yamaha. My new book shows you 15,000 government programs you could use to change your life, too. You can get a better job, get an education, or start your own business. Next year, the government's going to spend $350 billion, and those who know about the programs are the ones who get the money.
If I could get $15,000 to go back to school, any woman could do it.
Call now, 1-800-233-0500.
Do you want to see the greatest baseball comeback in 76 years? The Indians' miracle victory over the Mariners. It's an instant classic, and the only place to see it is on ESPN Classic. Down 12-0, the Indians slug their way back into the game and into baseball history.
Cleveland has won it.
An instant classic, Mariners, Indians, the miracle comeback, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday, only on ESPN Classic, presented by GM. To see this history-making game, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
We're back in Washougal, Washington. Travis Pastrana is now up next to his bike. He's putting his goggles on. David, I cannot believe that. There's his mother, Debbie, coming in, talking things over with Robert, the father. You know, it's my belief that if an NFL star or NBA or baseball player was in a similar position here, David, that they would never allow this type of thing to continue. Hitting your head that hard, they would take strict precautions, especially considering the condition coming into the race. Final lap for Larry Ward in second place. Right in front of him is Mike Brown on the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. He would tie Langston for the most wins on the season 3 if he can hold on to this advantage for Ward. Let's go down and check in with Davey Combs. Davey.
Steve, what a huge change. Travis Pastrana down and apparently out again. Are you going to let Mike Brown know?
No, I mean, like I said before, David, we need to just keep looking forward. We're not worried about other riders. We just want to concentrate on winning races. I just heard on the radio that Travis went down. I feel sorry for the bad kid. He's had such a bad weekend. You know, he's had a bad last couple of weekends, and I really do feel for him.
As I said, you guys did pick a perfect time to get hot. This will be Mike's 4th straight Moto win. You have gone from 52 points back in the last 2 weeks to the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I said to the rest of the guys in the workshop, if we're going to pull this off, we need a miracle. And I mean, it looks like we've got one at the moment.
6 years ago, Mike Brown won his first motocross on this track. And he's not too far away now from taking the checkered flag.
Even if Larry Ward gets around him, he's still going to get this overall. But he's thinking points. Every point he can get, because he's still in a battle with Langston, regardless of what happens to Travis. I mean, Debbie Pastrana walked over there, and Robert kind of shooed her away like, we got this under control. I think this is just out of control.
As we watch Mike Brown finishing it off, let's go back to Davey.
Down here in the mechanics area, check out who came down to cheer Mike Brown on. This is part-time practice partner Ricky Carmichael. They ride together a lot on Ricky's track. He saw that Brown was in a fight and decided to come out and give one of his fellow Southerners the go-ahead. Carmichael down here to cheer his boy on.
It's the first time for Mitch Payton's Pro Circuit team to sweep both motos in back-to-back races since Carmichael days. You saw the graphic. This is his 3rd sweep of this year, but all of Brown's wins over the last 2 seasons have been sweeps. 5 GPs last year and 3 this year. Budds Creek, Troy, and we're not too far from Washougal.
Larry Ward's still staying pretty close, but Brown right now is just in the preservation mode, just making sure that lead doesn't get too small. He can cruise through the swoop section without any real danger from Ward, but from behind. I think Ward's happy to finish 2nd after where the first moto went.
I don't know. Has anyone from Tennessee ever won an AMA motocross national title? He might be the first from the volunteer state. The checkers from Mike Brown. And with his situation combined with Langston and Pastrana, Mike Brown will be our new points leader. Mike Brown, Larry Ward, Grant Langston, 1, 2, and 3 in our 2nd moto. Sellards holding on to 4th with Tane in 5th. Davey Coombs is with our winner, Mike Brown.
Mike, you definitely picked the right time to get hot. 2 weeks ago, you were 44 points behind. You're the new points leader today.
Yeah, I don't want to put no pressure on myself, but I'm happy for that. And the team, you know, all I want to do is go out and keep winning like this, and the championship will come to me instead of me trying to challenge it.
You came through the pack really fast there at the beginning of the moto. Tell us about some of those passes.
Yeah, I was inside everywhere. I was going inside, outside, just wherever I can get by him as quick as I could, because I didn't want to let Langston pull him through with me, so I want to put some distance in between us, and, that's what I did, and, I'm happy the way I rode.
For the half the moto, Travis Pastrana was keeping pace with you, and then he crashed again. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, Pastrana with the DNF.
Yeah, man, I know I don't want nobody to get hurt, nobody to crash. I want to beat them, when they're on the two wheels, but, I've had my bad luck, and I guess maybe he's having his, but, I hope nobody's hurt, and just keep winning.
3 races to go. Is that the strategy?
Yeah, so if I can win 4 more motos, I'll be happy.
But he has to face his GP rival who beat him over the last 2 years in Europe. Grant Langston taking second today overall, and Roderick Tane a fine third-place overall finish as we go back to the podium.
Well, Grant, I don't know if you heard the news, but Travis Pastrana, another crash. You and Brown are right there together for the points lead.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate for Travis. It was becoming a good championship. Everyone was closing in, but my main goal was to be ahead of Mike, and he was just too quick for me in the second moto. I gave it all I had, and Larry was also riding real good, but I think there's only 5 points in it, so it's still real close. Anything can happen.
You have a couple weeks off before you get ready to go to Millville. What are you going to work on to stay ahead of Brown and Pastrana?
My speed work, I suppose. The fitness seems to be okay. I don't get tired at all, but he just seems to have the speed on me at the moment, and it's real kind of frustrating.
Good ride, Grant.
Thanks.
Not only does Mike Brown move ahead of Pastrana in the Suzuki point standings, but he has a 5-point lead over the second-place rider, who's now Grant Langston. Travis is 16 off the lead. Davey.
Well, Larry, I know you've had a heck of a day. A hole in the airbox the first moto. Now this oil all over your bike. What's going on here?
I don't know. Having a little bit of problem today, but my mechanic Doug Stone's been doing a great job, and it's just things happen. It's a motorcycle, and I weigh 180 pounds, and I'm pushing it pretty hard, so things are going to break. Pretty disappointed with the day overall. Rode great second moto, had oil in my face and in my goggles and on my bike, but it's just one of those things. I rode through it, and we'll go, and things got to turn around. I'm back, started with the second again, so maybe I can start over a new streak.
So Mike Brown, a rider who was 59 points down only 3 races ago, has taken over the points lead. Travis Pastrana has nothing more to prove on a 125. It's time for the Pastrana camp to take a step back and seriously reevaluate what's important for this young man's future. The 250s are coming up next from Washougal, Washington.
If you added up all the hours you've spent boring out cylinders, building strokers, and setting up suspension, you'd have graduated from MMI by now, and you'd be getting paid for doing what you love. Call 1-800-994-3664 to find out how you can become one of the best technicians in the world. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
When Suzuki introduced the original 4-stroke DR 350 and dual sport 350, it rocked motorcycling. Now, it's happening all over again. Introducing the all-new DRZ 400 and DRZ 400S from Suzuki. 4-stroke thunder. On-road or off.
USBA welterweight title fight. Corey Spinks versus Larry Marks. Friday night fights. 9 p.m. Friday on ESPN2.
The 250s are at the gate here at Washougal, Washington, and I guess the big question is, can Kevin Windham, who's put so much hard work into this season, can he duplicate the performance of the opening moto? It was a great win for him. Let's go down to Davey now at the gate.
Well, we've seen Ricky Carmichael in this position before, guys. He has an okay first moto, but then he comes back flying in the second moto. This time, unlike Kenworthy's, Carmichael wasn't sick in the bathroom or anything like that. He feels a lot better. And he also has to feel good about the knowledge that one of his competitors, Sebastian Tortelli, who tried to gut it out in the first moto after that concussion last week, has decided to sit out the second moto. So that pretty much sums it up. It's going to be Carmichael against Windham and Ferry. Tortelli is out.
So Johnny O'Mara right there with the number 4 hat on, always flanking Ricky at the starting line. Last minute words of wisdom from somebody who knows.
And that 30-second board has been up for quite a while. It's get nervous time.
Look at the official there. Hey, mechanics, get out of the way. And try to clear that off. I'll tell you what, with all that roost flying, I'd want out of there.
Especially this day and age of the four-stroke. Carmichael moving back and forth. Boy, it's a long wait. I don't see anybody malfunctioning at the gate. It's sideways now. They'll rev it up. The gate will drop, and we'll be underway with our second 250 moto from Washougal. Morocco once again getting trapped behind, and it's Tim Ferry. Ferry gets the whole shot. Carmichael right there. So is Wyndham. Villeman in the mix. Ferry, Carmichael, Wyndham, 1, 2, 3. And Villeman in fourth.
Well, now we're going to get to see it. Ferry was catching Carmichael and Wyndham the first moto, lost his goggles. I didn't notice that until after the race. That's a big problem. So he did a good job considering. He said he thought he could have won it. Now he gets his chance.
He's got all the big guns right behind him as Villeman moves into third. Hole shots have been a popular thing for Ferry and John Dowd, both on four strokes. Dowd on the KTM. Carmichael, though, in a good position. So is Wyndham. Wyndham right behind David Villeman.
Villeman putting in a good first half a lap here, getting around Wyndham.
He's got one win this year. He's picked up his third American AMA 250 win at Mount Morris this season. You might remember he dominated from hole shot to checkers, leading all 16 laps in the first moto of that one.
All right, look at Ferry. Looks excellent right now. He's hitting the lines he wants to hit. No surprises out there. Back end skates out from him a little bit right there, but it doesn't bother him. He's so focused on the line that front wheel needs to hit. And nobody's really pressuring him right now. Usually when Carmichael gets a second place start, he's all over the guy in the lead. Ferry's been able to put a little gap on it.
Well, one thing about coming into this race with a 48-point lead and 4 races to go for Carmichael, if Kevin Wyndham won every race and Ricky finished second, Ricky would still win by 24 points. Almost a complete moto.
He's got a comfortable cushion, but then again, so did Travis. So you just never know. And it's dangerous for Ricky right now. Look at that.
Whoa, Wyndham. A nice move in the corner on Villeman.
It was good that he planned ahead right there. He was already looking for that square off move, but Villeman got a little squirrely out there and made it easier.
Kevin Wyndham looking for the overall.
This is the part of the season where Ricky needs to be careful, keep doing what he's been doing, and not start to worry about the points too much. Then you start racing not to lose. That changes everything, allows other people in there. That's not what got him here.
Ferry with a third place in the first moto, in case you just tuned in. Carmichael taking second behind Kevin Wyndham.
Look at this move. See, Villeman jumps that braking bump right there into the outside. You can see Kevin's intentions, but like, where was he going to go? He was just trying to not follow, and because Villeman made that mistake, it allowed him right in there. So always plan ahead. That's the way Pastrana was able to make a move earlier in the 125 class. Still no pressure from Carmichael. He's there.
That kind of surprises me.
Yeah, Ferry is backing up what he said. This is a fun section. You come out of the woods, wide open on the gas, third gear, and then the earth just falls away from you, right back into all those screaming people.
Ron Cotta gunning for Villeman right now in 5th position. Villeman in 4th. Ron Cotta's 4th place at Troy was commendable in that last race, especially after a crash in Moto 1. He had a bad start in Moto 2 and still came off 4th overall. This is his first year in 250s, first full season. He was expecting a lot more of himself. His lone podium was at Redbud, a 3rd place with a 3.4. He led a couple of laps in that race.
I think he's shown speed at times. Right here he's riding pretty good, keeping pace with the leaders. As long as he can do that and then step into next year and have a good season, I think Kawasaki will be happy, and he will too. right now, this is a big disappointment.
Yeah, he doesn't have that happy-go-lucky persona that he had earlier in the season, that's for sure.
If he can get up front, run with these guys a little bit outdoors, and then as soon as they get back indoors, where I think he's better anyway, he may be able to get up and sneak onto the podium here and there in the Supercross series.
Ricky Carmichael looks like he's trying to pick it up on Tim Ferry. That's Wyndham in third, Villeman in fourth, and Roncada now in fifth. One thing for sure, Tim Ferry's competition is getting a little more serious about this time of the race. Ferry, Carmichael, Wyndham, Villeman, they're all right there, and we'll be right back to Washougal, Washington right after these words.
Introducing the all-new Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck from Chevy.
The Wall Street Journal delivered for 8 weeks at just 38 cents a day, a 50% savings.
Call 800-454-6500. That's 800-454-6500 for the Wall Street Journal.
More riders. More classes. More championships. More than ever. Suzuki. Rising stars to superstars.
Who walks away with the Heisman? Matt, who inspired you to be here?
Right now, it's the guy at the hot pretzel stand. I need one. I don't think you do, fat boy.
After a dramatic 125 race, which gave us a new 125 leader, Mike Brown sweeping both motos in 125s, we've got a barn burner starting to take place here in the 250s in the final moto of the day. Tim Ferry, our leader. There's Ricky Carmichael now, starting to step it up even closer. Kevin Wyndham is back in third, and that's going to be a battle pretty soon.
Ricky just came by our camera so fast. I don't know if I should say on the edge, because I think they always are a little bit on the edge. But Ricky came through there so hard. Look at what he's done to Ferry's lead. It's not there anymore. Ferry can feel it. The crowd's in it. This is what Ricky does to people. It was getting done to him in the beginning of the race. I thought Ferry was for real. He said he thinks he could have won that first moto, and it looked like he was going to win this one. Not now.
He couldn't pull away, number one, and now he's got RC breathing down his neck. Oh, what a move by Ricky Carmichael right before the whoop section.
That's so aggressive. The ability to put yourself in that position to be able to just get to the inside and force Ferry out like that. Ferry didn't go through there slow. Ricky just never let off.
Now Ricky wants to take away with the lead as Wyndham has to battle Ferry.
Listen to how hard Ricky's on the power. I wonder if Chad has to put extra safety wire on that throttle grip, because he twisted hard.
Well, Carmichael, if he can hold on, will have his 6th straight overall victory. Here's Wyndham making the move on Ferry. He wants to get up there and put the heat on Ricky Carmichael. Can't afford to let him off the hook and let him get away.
Just like the first moto, everything Ricky did, Wyndham was able to shadow him, get right up and stay in contact, and then eventually make the move. Watch this pass. Ferry's just going for the main line. Ricky sees an opening, gasses it right up in there. Ferry can feel him coming, has to get his foot out of the way. Take that.
Wow. Now can Wyndham, though, 2 times in a row, chase down the defending champion.
It's pretty brave of Ricky to ride through all that hay. There could have been a chunk still in there. Kevin steered around it. These guys are riding hard. Look at Kevin, just going to float over this jump. Watch when he lands. He's so far forward. Look at that. He's charging. It's every point to point. It's just like coming off the gate. You don't come off the gate and hang off the back. You get over the front end. That's the most aggressive position, and Kevin's in that position a lot.
If Wyndham hopes to win the overall, he's got to take Carmichael one more time. He's keeping up the speed. Let's check in down the mechanics area with Davey Combs. Davey.
Well, Chad, your engineer, Rick Ash, said you guys want to change some settings. They seem to be working.
Yeah, we changed the front end geometry a little bit, changed the steering characteristics, and that's about the only thing we could do in that shorter time, and hopefully it's working. I really don't know, but he's riding good, and plus he's pissed off.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's also got Kevin Wyndham in his rearview mirror. As soon as RC goes by Ferry, so does Wyndham.
Yeah, he better be pissed off because Wyndham's riding good today, and it's really cool weather, and Wyndham, when he's on, and this weather is what he likes, so we're going to have our hands full.
Team Honda riders battling it out for 6th right now. Ezra Lusk, the Amsoil Dr. Martin's Honda of Mike LaRocco. In case you're just tuning in or tuned in after the first 250 Moto, Ryan Hughes and Sebastian Tortelli both suffering the effects of concussions. Tortelli also with a sore shoulder, not running here in the second Moto.
Look at that fan out there on the racetrack getting pictures. I'm thinking he's in the way. Looks like Kevin is just inching up on Ricky. And Ricky's already riding as hard as he can go, or I don't see where he can pick it up anywhere, and Kevin's closing. That's a problem for RC.
I'll never forget one year at Bud's Creek, in that big first turn after coming up the hill in the start. A photographer actually got into the corner and got hit by a bike, and I think it was Stanton at the time. Carmichael, Wyndham, and Ferry. Should be a good finish.
With 2 showrooms jam-packed with motorcycles and all the goodies that go with them, Loudon Motorsports is busting out with Suzuki motorcycles and ATVs. With over 100 bikes on display, they feature the entire lineup of Suzukis, including the gorgeous Suzuki Intruders, the all-new Suzuki Volusia, plus the phenomenal GSX-R 1000. Stop by to see what all the excitement is about.
We can't wait to see you at Loudon Motorsports. We'll get you the best financing available and give you the most fair, straightforward deal. Come visit us.
With over 20 beers on tap, Tuscarora Mill adds up to a great place to kick back with friends, catch a game, or have a bite to eat. As soon as you walk into Tusky's bar, you'll feel how comfortable and friendly it is. Cozy up to the bar, or pick a table to relax and enjoy. With a wide variety of food or drink, you'll find something to suit your tastes. And Tusky's gets all the games, so you catch all the action. Chat with the bartender, meet some new friends, or catch up with the old ones. Tuscarora Mill, located in Market Station, Leesburg.
This weekend, Saturday on ESPN, after their tragic loss, the Vikings head to New Orleans to face Ricky Williams and the Saints. Sunday on ESPN, Annika Sorenstam and Kari Webb battle for the Wendy's Championship for Children. Then on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, can the Mariners continue their record-setting pace as they host the White Sox? And on ESPN Classic, it's a Disney classic, The Love Bug. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs coming to you from Washougal, Washington. The battle for the lead in our final 250 Moto is on. Wyndham was the victor in the first Moto, but can he do it twice in one day against Ricky Carmichael, the defending champion? Wyndham now starting to show a wheel. Oh, Ricky had a good chance there to push out. Now Wyndham is all over the place looking for a line to pass.
What surprises me is that Ricky looks like he's trying as hard as he can, and Kevin's just going wherever he wants to go on the racetrack. That's not easy.
And he makes it look easy, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
He's in control of this battle right now. I think Ricky can feel that. And he'll be really mad after this Moto if he gets past. He doesn't like to be beaten twice in a row, especially. Yeah, he'll give it to somebody once, but not twice.
While Ricky Carmichael is looking for his 6th consecutive victory on the season to become the only rider in motocross history in the 250s to win 6 consecutive races in back-to-back years. Kevin Windham, on the other hand, he's had a lot of hard work that's put him on the edge of winning this season, but just hasn't quite pulled the trigger on it.
I have a hunch that this is the kind of racetrack that Ricky sort of frowns upon. And nothing wrong with the racetrack itself. It's beautiful, and like I said, if you got a camera out, take a picture. This is beautiful, natural layout, but it's just not bumpy enough. It's not soft enough. It doesn't separate the men from the boys here and there. It's a high-speed, finesse, throttle control type racetrack, and you give the nod there to Kevin Windham.
Let's see what happens in the whoops. Boy, what a hippity hop for Windham to get into the whoops.
Look at Kevin. Just wherever Ricky goes, he goes somewhere else. He's even going inside of that berm.
Kevin Windham is a different rider right now than we saw earlier in the season. Even though he started off the season doing very well and has had a consistent year. The sparkle in his eye of confidence as we saw him in the post-moto interview after he won the first moto.
He's been needing some of this. Get up in the fight, stay in the fight, get comfortable with that pace out front. Okay, that's what he's doing. Well, that's not so bad. I can do that. He proved it the first moto, and he's doing it again here now. He must be feeling just so much more confidence he's felt on the season. It's not a conditioning thing. Kevin doesn't get tired. He gets nervous and tight. Look at this.
Bar to bar we go. Whoa! The fans have every right to go crazy on this one as Windham makes the pass. Can he make it stick? Here comes Carmichael to the inside. Oh, he slipped out on the tail end. And Windham has the advantage. What a great move by Kevin Windham and a terrific battle between these two riders.
Look at Kevin just float through these sections. Nothing really seems to bother him out there. He never looks out of position or a little bit uncomfortable. Ricky, on the other hand, the bike's fishtailing around here and there, and you can see the extra effort he's putting in to try to match Kevin's pace, and it's just not there today. He tried. Look at Kevin. He got a little bit better run up the hill. Has the inside. That's the way Brown passed Larry Ward. Now watch Ricky. He's not happy about it. He sees an opportunity, goes right for the inside. Kevin just got around him in time to hit that powder berm and stay cleared. Took Ricky a little while to get back up that hill after he lost his momentum. Now the pressure's not there for Kevin.
Windham's last motocross win was almost 2 years ago at Binghamton in 1999. He went 1-1 on a Honda at the time. That was his greatest year for motocross in the 250s. He won 4 regular season races with 4 other podiums while taking Albie to the final round at Delmont before the championship was determined. He lost the title by 29 points, but number 14 now in the Suzuki even had a great U.S. GP win against Stefan Everts that same year at Budds Creek. It's good to see him riding with this confidence again.
Look at how beautiful that is. He just skates right into that, does a little wheel tap to jump him farther in to where there's a worn out whoop there. Then he gets a great drive through the rest of that section. That's where Ricky normally just pins it and makes up his time, and he's losing time there to Kevin.
There's the 3rd place rider, number 15, Tim Ferry.
He must be pretty shocked at what happened to the pace in the second moto, because he thought he had it covered, and to tell you the truth, the way the first couple of laps went, I thought he had it too.
Windham, Carmichael, and Ferry. Could this also be the first time this year that both winners, the 125 and the 250, have swept both motos?
Hold on! I'm coming for you! The Suzuki King Quad is the only all-terrain vehicle that has a 3-speed sub-transmission. Hold on! And locking front differential that allows you to transfer power equally to all 4 wheels to get you where you need to go. I'm coming! I almost lost you there. The King Quad from Suzuki.
The compact Presario 800T with Intel Pentium 3 processor, starting at $1499. Incredibly good looking, incredibly thin, and incredibly light. How light? Pretty light. Call 1-888-331-5711 toll-free and get a $50 instant rebate off any Presario notebook with Intel processor.
Come on, pitcher! Strike him out!
There are a few defining moments in life that set you on a certain path.
Strike him out! You can do this!
Memorable.
No better, no better.
Emotional.
One more time! It's all over!
Remarkable. For these kids, this will be one of those moments.
Come on, you can do it!
The Little League World Series presented by Honda, 6 and 8, tonight on ESPN2.
And Kevin Windham, number 14 on the Suzuki, put his name next to Ellis Tripes DeStefano with his 5th 250 motocross victory. Starting to get into some lappers right now. That could make a difference here on the final lap, as Ricky Carmichael is not that far behind.
Little dance back there by Kevin. Didn't really bother him. That could have been a problem. Emig went down that same exact jump a few years ago really hard. And it's because you're laid over as you approach that, and there's braking bumps going up.
That brings up the point. Jeff was up here racing on Friday. Entered the amateur races. Had some fun with it. Kevin Windham, though, he's had fun today.
And he's doing it with style. I mean, he looks very comfortable out there.
So Windham is able to gain an edge on Ricky Carmichael as they weed their way through the lapped riders.
Ricky's shaking his head back there, trying to get around.
That's Terlicki out of Oregon.
There's a blue flag, though. That means get out of the way. Here comes the leader. So Kevin, like you said, the first moto, he had no trouble getting through the lap traffic, and he's had none here.
David, could this be a turning point, though, for young Kevin Windham? If with a sweep here in Washougal, he doesn't gain that many points against Ricky Carmichael, but if he should finish the year out with victories, that's meaningful.
It is, and that's just going to give him more confidence going into next season. And, you know, if he could just erase a couple of bad races here and there.
The heel clicker from Kevin.
Of course, Ricky's had his share of bad races as well, all self-inflicted. So the closest guy has been Kevin, and maybe he can start something here. And he hands down beat Ricky both motos, but I think Millville, the motivation of Carmichael, the intensity, he hates to lose. I don't want to say what Chad said again, but you heard it twice. Ricky does not like to give it up. He doesn't want to let these guys finish the season on a high. He wants to destroy them.
Whoa, hold on, Kevin. He's going through the woods. He's only got one turn in the whoops left before the checkered flag. We've got a kind of parity this year in this series. 5 different winners in 9 races this will be if he can stay upright on the whoops. Look out. Here comes the champ. The checkers for Windham. What a great feeling this has got to be for Kevin Windham, who struggled through a Supercross season. Has had a very consistent motocross season, but his first victory of the year. Ricky Carmichael has some words for Terlicki there.
This is the all-new Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. And the 2001 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck. From Chevy.
The deepest canyons. The biggest dunes. The tightest trails. This ATV is built to go just about anywhere you want to take it. And it doesn't matter if it's your first time or you've been riding for years. There's no other ATV like it. The Honda Sport Trax 250EX. It's all things to all terrain.
Check it. Yeah, come on.
It's about players, working, playing. And it's not what you expect. It's the life presented by Sprite. This week, Kevin Garnett is all over Europe. 10 a.m. next Saturday on ESPN.
Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road.